Hello, all. I am Deepa, a life and a leadership coach and a self mastery practitioner. And I'm inviting you and welcoming you to this episode of The Leader's Voice, where we amplify the voice and the practices of leaders who believe in success with balance and self mastery. And this is an initiative that I began as a search for my own self. Yes, I was successful, but I don't think I was doing it with balance. And that led me on the path of installing practices and looking at different processes which will bring me balance. And today, I would say that fairly there is success and balance. And I met so many leaders who are corporate professionals, entrepreneurs, and coming from different startup who live this life of success with balance. Today, I have a very, I don't know whether to what you call him, guru, a friend, Anna, or more, maybe all in one. But here we have Krishna Prakash. When I think of him, I think of him as the conscience keeper of the nation because he not only thinks of his balance, but in one sense, he thinks it's his dharma to, to spread the message of balance through the various programs he curates and through the beautiful space that he lives in and allows for people to experience, which is Shrimath. I'll talk more about that in a while. But to introduce Krishna, Krishna is a disciple of Master Shri since 1997, who is a direct disciple of Shri Anna Subramanian, a grand disciple of Shri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, and Shri Swami Purnananda Natha, grand disciple of Bhagwan Nityananda of Ganeshpuri. His initiatives include Shrimath Yoga, which is a physical space, physical sacred space in the outskirts of Bangalore, Nelamangala. I wouldn't call it outskirts anymore. Bangalore, everything is now coming into the city. And another initiative is the Foundation for Indic Wisdom, and he will share more about it. Krishna is a prolific writer on Indic knowledge systems, and you must read and follow his LinkedIn because I would say he's a grand mix of intelligence and humor and wisdom, of course. And he brings the application of these knowledge systems into our daily life. He's passionate about promoting Yoga Nidra and Antar Mauna, which is inner silence, as well as coaching and leadership based on the Indic knowledge systems. He feels that it's one's duty to protect indigenous cow breeds, support Veda Patashalas and temple priests, contribute to retaining dilapidated temples. Wow. Krishna lives in Shrimath with his wife Smriti, another beautiful soul I have met in my life. The cows, Purna and Padma, their calf, Keshava, are also part of his extended family. I do offer my workshops and my retreats in Shrimath, and one of the things that I take away is extreme depth and silence and rejuvenation of sorts. So just staying there without any retreat itself is healing and well-being is how I feel actually. That's the beauty of the sacred space there and the food. It's infused with love from Smriti and the team at Shrimath and so healthy. And when Smriti is serving, she'll actually tell you, don't waste this because this has so many ingredients and this is so healthy for you and how healthy it is for you. So that's Krishna for us and welcome you to this space. Lovely, lovely. So you know the intention behind this, and the whole idea is that people who are listening are able to really look at how can they bring subtle, simple practices. And I want to start with your effort in spreading Yoga Nidra and Antarmauna in in this generation and in today's lives, I have been a part of it too, and I have immensely benefited. So would you like to start with sharing what was your uh, inspiration behind spreading this, and how does it help?
Thank you for the wonderful introduction. I think it's sheer grace which enabled whatever you said to come in word and practice life. And parents' blessings and whatever you explained is uh, impossible for an individual to do. So there must be something, and we will figure it out eventually. Mm, this idea of Yoga Nidra way back in 2008, when I used to have a lot of sessions every day at a retreat where I worked for 7 years. So once my teacher asked, what is that I do to relax and rejuvenate? And why not I practice Yoga Nidra? And without even asking me, he said, just go down. You appear to be very tired. Lie down in that carpet and you practice Yoga Nidra and you can go to the next session. At the same moment, I clearly knew I don't know exactly what is Yoga Nidra. And I also knew he also didn't know I know Yoga Nidra. So this unspoken communication happened, but still we respect the word of a teacher because I always feel there is something they see in us which we can't see. So I just lie down on the carpet for 10, 15 minutes. I went out and then later he told me, unless you internalize and experience in life, you should never share a process. And that is where things started. And next year, very early, that 2008 end, he was concluding a program called Spiritual Awakenings. And then he called and informed that I feel you should have some sort of certification in yoga, though you have qualifications in management, because going ahead in future, people would like to know whether you are qualified and certified to teach.
Correct.
And it was also the 12, almost the 12th year of me being with my teacher. I met him first in 1997 and he recognized in 1998 January. So somehow that 12-year cycle was also coming to that. And taking a cue from him, I asked, where should I go and study? He said, you figure out and tell me. I didn't know at that time. Also, it was a kind of a midterm test. Went down and saw. I figured out a couple of academic institutions were offering yoga programs, and Bihar School of Yoga was offering. So somehow I was drawn into that because Yoga Nidra also was brought out by Swami Satyananda, the founder of Bihar School of Yoga. So then when I went and told him, he said, this is the right choice because that is aligned with our Sampradaya. Dasanama Sampradaya we call no in Advaita Vedanta. So there is Saraswati. So his teacher is Shivananda Saraswati. So he said, and maybe he was the only person with whom I spoke during my stay. Sometimes when I have a small doubt, I'll have to call evening and speak. 3, 4 times I spoke with him. And that is how the journey started. And then 12 years down the line, 2021 onwards, when I studied in 2009, we thought it is time to take it to a larger audience. And 2013, this idea came very strongly that yoga teachers also need to know in deep yoga nidra because more than 90% of the certification courses in yoga do not have yoga nidra as a component way back those days, 2013. So that proposal was accepted by Yoga Alliance International. And fortunately, we were the first institution to award certificate course in Yoga Nidra from 2013. So that is the idea
History.
of that.
Yeah, yeah, lovely. Um, I have benefited from Yoga Nidra, and in the course that you had led, in the first few batches where I was a part of, you talked about seeding the intention and going into the process, and then look at it after I think 28 days. and it had completely benefited, and exactly whatever I had seeded came true. So it is not magic. There is a process behind it. There's a science behind it. How can today's, and I would call myself today's generation. Of course, there are many generations after me, but I am living in Sansara. I am
Uh,
going through the push and the pull, like any of us. How do you think? How can this be leveraged by people like us who are in this grind of life?
yeah. Somewhere down the lane, we gravitated towards glorifying monastic life. Though it is the crown jewel, but the work happens below the crown, which is the head. I feel the grihastha ashrama.
Correct.
Unless someone is completely ripe and the teacher finds, monastic life is not in the grasp of everyone. India is a Rishi and Rishi Patni culture. Our entire tradition is Sapta Rishis, and we are all belonging to them, irrespective of our species we belong, the gender we belong. We are all come from Sapta Rishis. So Rishi Patni household culture is Indian culture, which has taken this tradition for thousands of years. And there is no point in running away because the everyday situation is the test which life gives us to graduate and eventually uh, what you can call realize who you are. So, like you have arrears in college, till you finish arrears, you keep repeating the subject. So, till you are learning in this life or a life is incomplete, we keep taking birth. That is the very easiest way to understand. And the way to work with it is either overcome a problem or undergo a problem or circumvent a problem or confront a problem. It all depends on the person's mindset at that point of time. There is no one way because our tradition gently subscribes that there are multiple ways to decipher things, at least in the ephemeral world. Okay, though the ultimate reality is one, the transactional life, we have multiple ways to do it. And when you see all the issues we are facing, the mind is the one which is trying to help us solve it. And what are the processes which can help us to deal with the mind? We need to learn from a tradition. So when I mean tradition, tradition is a place where at least you know three generations of teachers have at least gone through a particular process, distilled its wisdom and giving to us so that we don't reinvent the wheel. So that
Yes.
is how Yoga Nidra has come into in our hands now. Okay. And what is pushing us in life? It's desires. Nobody can be away from desire. Okay. And how to manifest the desire? First, we need to know whether that desire is as per dharma. Once we know it is as per dharma, not all desires which are as per dharma will be needed for this individual. See, the need to rule a country or becoming a business baron, these are all as per dharma only desires. But the enormity of them is so high, parallelly sacrifices are also high. So at our levels, what is there we can start with to make our life complete? That is where we start understanding the desires which motivate us in life, the connections with people in life to whom we have a dharma towards, what is our duty towards them, and then we end up making a list of the desires. And then we convert one after the other desire into a sankalpa, which is a resolve, which is
So,
slightly more than an intention. And then we see that during the process of yoga nidra, and neuroscience also corroborates that kind of an approach so that we co-create what we desire. At the same time, we don't take complete ownership of the result because there are many components which go together to make a result. So this
yes.
is how we work with the desires and take a resolve and then manifest the desires in a systematic way.
Yes, and now I'm remembering exactly that's what I went through, and I remember asking you many questions. What's the difference between an intention and a resolve? And you so beautifully explained about the alpha waves and the beta waves, and how what happens from a brain perspective. So, here's a pause, and I urge all of you who are listening to this recording that if even if you don't have any issue in life, please experience Krishna's Yoga Nidra process. It's mind blowing. It's so anchoring. And it's repeating because it's for a longer period of time and a practice that you can install to quickly rejuvenate yourself, uh, strengthen your desires, and also manifest them. And you're involved in it. It's not that he's a magician. He's going to show his wand and you get your desires manifested. It's a very beautiful process. You talked about mindset and emotions, and I am working with leaders in corporate most of the times, and I see there is a lot of imbalance. First of all, in the emotional realm and the mindset realm, the thoughts realm. In the thoughts, it's unclarity. Do I do this or not? Do I do this because my boss is saying, or what is? I don't even know what I want actually. That's one. The second aspect in emotions is a lot of fear. I have to work on a Sunday because if I don't do it, I lose my job and the industry is not great. I will not get another job. This is just one fear, but there are many unknown fears that I sense. In a coaching conversation, when I sense it, I mirror it. But there are so many I'm not meeting, and hence it goes unseen and unanswered. What is this phenomena? And are there any clues for people who are experiencing this? What can they do to bring balance in their life?
We need to start understanding what are the controllables and non-negotiables. Whether it is Saturday, Sunday, Monday, or whether we are in a job or not, what are the controllables and non-negotiables? They are like two eyes when we look into any system or any issue before us. And then there we need to anchor ourselves because that defines who we are. That is our uniqueness. Without putting anybody down, we can anchor. If we are steadfast in, be very clear in we cannot control everything which is happening outside. What can be controlled and what can be non-negotiable for us. For example, there is a fan or an air condition operating in your room. The controllable is that remote control where 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 you can, correct? So we need to know how much we can, how much we cannot. That we should be having a very clear thing. The non-negotiable aspect is maybe you open a window, you don't need an air conditioner. So what you are thinking, you have to question whether it is a non-negotiable or a negotiable. Very simple way telling you. Second is situations around us are always going to be dynamic. For an example, last time we sat down to record this in December, the approach, the topic was different, and somehow we don't know where it is.
Very
Correct? But
true.
now we are sitting down, and very interestingly, we hear statements like how long will you stare at your wife on a Sunday? At least Indians, I can tell, you can only stare at your wife's photograph. We don't have guts to stare at our wife. Okay. So, jokes apart, the thought process is we need to have a kind of a sadhana. Sadhana is an English word or a Samskrita word. That's it. Like I'm talking to you in English, it doesn't mean that I am subscribing to a particular religion or a particular anything particular. It is a mode of communication which is easily understandable.
Yes.
So the word sadhana is process, very simple. And sadhya is the goal. And we are sadhaka or sadhaki, whatever you want to call it. So we need to always understand what is the process or processes which I will do to stay grounded and understand the controllables and uncontrollables, understand the negotiables and non-negotiables. For that, we need a place of a witness to just observe.
Yes.
So the tradition gives us first pranayama processes. The pranayama processes will help us to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, and we can choose to respond or react. Again, reaction is never wrong, always, and response need not be right always. People feel reactions are wrong and response is right. This is a problem of binary thinking of modern day education. Traditionally, there is no right or wrong. That which is apt has to be done. Correct. A sudden break is a reaction because something is coming in between. If you think I will process and respond, either
Wow.
you are in jeopardy or putting someone's life in jeopardy. So in tradition, the word apt is used then right, wrong, good, bad. And in a very clear way, it is called dharma. What is dharma of me in that situation has to be done.
Yes, yes.
So,
I'm thinking of Krishna here, Lord Krishna. That's what he did.
mm, yeah. So dharma has to be done because his entire army was fighting and losing lives on the other side. Yet dharma has to be done without fighting. So that was his role, no? A pure witness. So that is the way. So here, emotions can be managed by pranayama techniques because they work with the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system if we do a clinical study. Also, we have enough research reports to say that. So when we are constantly grounding, it's like housekeeping every day. Suddenly, if a guest comes doing housekeeping is difficult. When you have it as a daily activity, then it becomes easy. Like that, when an emotion comes, suddenly you cannot go to the last workshop you attended, pull up the notes. You don't have time to do that and respond.
Correct.
So if you have a daily practice like brushing your teeth, taking breakfast, doing some exercise routine, you need to have some pranayama practices. I'm consciously not using the word breath work. The word breath work is bringing the value and meaning of pranayama down, but still it is okay for beginners because prana is breath plus plus.
Yes.
Okay, the way I explained that is someone undergoing a coma stage in hospital, someone who is tired, you and me, all the three of us are breathing.
Yes.
The difference is the level in prana. The
Yes.
prana is more in us, the life force, so we can be active. It is almost zero in a person who is in coma stage, so just
Yes.
breath is happening.
Yes.
So
Yes.
bringing pranayama down to the word breath work is disservice to that word.
Yes. It's the Shakti you're talking about, the force.
Yeah, yeah, very right. Prana Shakti. Like how we use certain technical words. For example, if you ask me what is Tulsi, to the world, if I say Osimum sanctum, they understand that is the botanical name. Irrespective of my mother tongue, if I know Osimum sanctum, I can decipher this is Tulsi across the globe. That is the way we need to see Samskrita sometimes as a technical language through which you understand anything precisely.
Ah.
So pranayama, we need to use the word pranayama. Sadhana, we have to use the word sadhana. Correct? Yoga nidra, yoga nidra. No psychic sleep, this sleep, that sleep. These are all toned down versions.
Right.
We need to scale up to understanding. No, we cannot bring a concept down and degrade it. So this pranayama processes will help in emotions culture because nobody will know when a particular emotion can be triggered. They are all setting black boxes. Which incident, which person is going to trigger which emotion in us, even the divine cannot say. Because if divine is also living in the present moment, it is also expecting the unexpected like us. It's just playing a role, which is called divine. We are playing a role which is human. It's all role playing world. Correct? So when we are ready with the set of processes, like what we say in art of war, in peace prepare for war, in war prepare for peace.
Yeah, very
When you
true.
are in peace, you prepare yourself for the
Yes.
war with the wherewithals of pranayama,
Wow.
yoga nidra,
Yes.
mudra, mantra, kriya, japa, whatever you want. Okay. And when at the time of war, you will know how to dose it and come back to peace. Correct?
This
So
is
life is all
beautiful.
about preparation.
Yes.
So
Yes.
this is how pranayama practices help in emotion culture. Second, the world speaks only about mind mastery or mindset mastery. In the Indic wisdom, we speak about sense mastery. Without sense mastery, mind mastery is just in paper. This is also why we find successful leaders not having a proper life. Success becomes unidimensional if there is no sense mastery. You can go astray, you can do real charity, both spectrum, or you can do both, but there needs to be a proper mastery of senses before mind mastery. For that to happen, it all starts with working with emotions using pranayama, then engaging a proper clinical psychologist, coach, mentor, or a counselor based on one's need. And then we need to slowly chart the way ahead.
Yeah. I think in one of the sessions you also talked about sense profiling.
Yeah.
In I think one of the yoga nidra sessions, one of the sessions, I don't remember. Yeah, very true. That makes a lot of sense. And I loved what you talked about war and peace and preparation, because the analogy I use is, if you don't have deposits in the bank, when you actually need it, how can you use it? So
Wonderful.
when you realize you need it, your bank is khali and you cannot use it. So sadhana and all the rhythmic practices we do is actually like filling up the bank, and it just sounds like the same thing. And honestly, in my life, no, I think I have always felt rhythms are boring in my yesteryears. Like 10 years ago, I felt like same thing. If you do something different has to be there, I'm going to the same temple again and again, it's so boring. This is how my mind used to trick me. But I think in greater breakdowns in my life, I realized that my bank is khali. I don't have anything to anchor on when I have nothing. So I think for the last 10 years, it has been like a practice to have practices. So all my courses are also anchored on rhythms and habits, because it's so important. And in fact, in my 2025 vision, more and more I feel like I used to do certain practices earlier on, which is like going to the temple, which I realize now that it really brings so much peace to me. So now I am saying at least 4 days a week, I will take that effort to walk and go to the temple and come back. Because what I gain, I can't even explain in words. And I can't even put in a format what I gain. I know I'm gaining, I can't articulate it. So it is so beautiful. I mean, this is so good. One of the struggles that I see, there are two perspectives. The younger generation, let's take the 13 to 20 age group. I do talk to a lot of clients, children, or my friends' children, my own children also. There is a certain resistance with doing these practices on a rhythmic. They also, I hear them saying it's boring. There is addiction of different kinds. Mobile, I mean, all the gadgets is one part, but even there is resistance, which is also very addictive, because you resist and then you get a joy in meeting that resistance, and then I continue it. So how do you see these practices can reach the younger generation? Because I know you do yoga for girls in at Shrimath, but it's just a section of people that we are touching. How do we shift the mindsets of these younger children, who are then going to further lay foundation for their own mental peace and emotional stability? Because right now I feel there's a lot of upheaval in them.
It first starts with acharana at home. As children don't understand words, they understand action, like much like our brain. Mind understands action. You need to take an action. So the way we behave in critical situation, the way we deal, way we talk, that is the first lesson the child picks up. When we talking with them or utilizing a mobile or reading a newspaper or reading a book or listening to music and expecting them to listen to us with rapt attention is incorrect. Second, my teacher told this 2 decades back that when both the parents start going to job because of the compulsions of modern day living, they shower the kids with goodies which they don't deserve to fulfill the parents' guilt,
Yeah, yeah.
satisfying it. If so, the first point also is onus is on us, people, elders at home. The second is also on us. Instead of feeling guilt, people need time in that age. The recent study or observation by someone I heard is Japanese are beginning to talk less amongst each other, and it may soon happen in India because already the generation alpha and beta are like that. They will talk only they if they wish to talk. You can't go and engage with them. For this, one of my friend Vinay Kulkarni, he has revived this idea of third place. What is the third place? In olden days, temples used to be the third place. The community halls used to be the third place. Shrimath is in a village called Arjuna Bettahalli. Every day evening after sunset, between 7 to 9, we can see a lot of village youngsters and elderly people assembling near the village big tree and the temples. We discuss about what's going on in life. That interaction children are missing in apartments and cities.
True,
But
true.
still, thankfully, it is there in small towns and villages. The more we tell children that there is more to life than I, me, myself, and family, engage them in societal things. Like when you and me were in school, we had NCC, NSS, Scouts,
Yes.
Guides.
Yes.
Today, in the name of tuitions and higher education, many of these service related things
Yes.
where you take care of the society around you, parents, we ourselves make them stay away, and we don't put enough pressure in a school where these things are not there. Academics, if it is only the life, very soon AI will replace us because AI has better retention, better hang over what's happening. AI tools will replace us very soon if we don't move from mere academics to the life. So this creation of third place, even in organizations, is very important, right? That is how the cafeterias become a place where we all meet and do things. So we need to enable this kind of setup with for children, maybe through an apartment owner association that all
Yeah.
of us take a charge. It's not policing. Discipline is not policing. You cannot say my way or highway. And at the same time, it is a responsibility of every home and every community, like an apartment complex, to send out better citizens into the world. As you rightly said, these 13 to 20 age kids are the torchbearers of the entire culture and
Yes.
tradition of the country. The
Correct.
teenage, no, 13 to 19.
Correct.
So what sets within them? The
Correct.
final thought process is today, a lot of scientific studies are given for this. Maybe we can simplify those scientific studies and bring to them in the form of a drama, a skit, or a poetry, or a lyric, or make them to do a like how you made us do during the Purnatwa retreat. Define the life through pictorially. Don't worry whether you know how to sketch or not. So that side of life, when it comes out, is basically engagement.
Yes. Yes.
This
Yeah.
is the only way we can bring them back
Yes.
to where they should be.
Yes, yes. I quite agree with service and what you're saying. In fact, when I hold space for leaders, what I see is that they have these CSR initiatives, and leaders who take part in that feel that there is life beyond me and my family. And there is a sense of fulfillment of contribution to a larger cause, which actually shifts the way they feel and think. It kind of broadens their mindset. So I can see the parallel to what you said. And yes, in my school, we used to volunteer. We had community, what moral science ka class, and we also had NCC. We had to volunteer. We had to go to, I was in Bombay, Mount Mary. There used to be a fair, and we'll have to stand there and police. I
Yeah.
mean, manage crowd. Or
Yeah.
Ganpati Visarjan, we had to manage a crowd. So yes, I do realize what you're saying is so right. And the other thought that came to me while you were speaking, was that when I tell my children do this, there is a resistance. But when I am not there, I end up seeing that they do exactly what I had told. But when I'm not there, they do it. Like for example, simple thing, lighting the lamp. It's a process which is very important, and it's not religious. It is just that when I light the outer lamp, I'm giving that 1 minute to see that inner lamp. It's a very clear process for me. And I want, like, morning my younger one will light and evening my older one will light. This is the thing. So when I say it, they'll resist. Why I should do? You're there, no, you'll do it. Vic is not there. Oil is not there. All the drama will happen. So when I'm there, not there, they'll do it when I'm traveling. So I think they do see what we do at home, and they absorb it, and it comes out when they think there is a need. Yeah.
When they see that it is a non-negotiable for you, who they look up to and who is their resource person, and it is nature of a child to resist, and we also resist. We think
Yes.
we are grown up. If
Yes.
somebody tells good things to us, we say, "Oh, I know, I have so much experience. How can you tell?"
True,
We may
true.
not say in words like the kids, but mentally we resist.
Oh yeah.
So we also need to do a lot of growing up.
Oh yeah.
Correct.
Correct.
So the kids, once they realize my resource person, my provider sees a particular activity as a non-negotiable, and all I can do is to do that.
Yeah. Yes.
And happy
Very
that
true.
you have trained the kids, and because lighting lamp is a job of a human, not only of a particular
No,
gender.
exactly.
The light is needed for everyone.
Everyone, exactly. That's the core thing. So when it comes to religion, then there is this great, because I am not fully aware of everything about the religion. But when it comes to simple logic, simple thing, feel the inner light and feel expansion. That's it. Of course, my son would ask me, "How can you feel expansion?" That how answer I don't have, and I'm sure they'll figure out as they grow. But yeah, I think communicating that is so important. I think you've really touched upon a very important aspect of service. And I remember, when I used to attend Sri Ravi Shankarji's classes very many years ago, he used to share that, service is a very important part of mastering your energy and thoughts, like that upliftment and that elevation that happens. Can you throw some light on serving and service?
It is our duty, right? Suppose we are, think we are all doing a role. Suppose, for example, let me take a role of somebody serving food in a restaurant. They have already a bucket of sambar or chutney or whatever has to be served, right? So if you are given the only role is to serve others, very simple. That is tangible. A leadership you have intangible. You need to serve. So this servant leadership, this leadership, that leadership is all a fad. It will all go away. Because you are in a role only because there is something which is full in you, which you are going to serve others.
Yeah, yeah.
These words will vanish, but the very reason is that. And when the same leader feels there is someone better in the team who can serve better because they have that particular quality, they, instead of being always a leader, they're happy to be led by their teammate. Okay, you lead this time. Like it happened this time, Rohit Sharma stepped back and said, Jasprit Bumrah, you can lead. So holding on to a position is not leadership. Knowing when to lead and when to be led is the first foundation of leadership. It is a position of responsibility, not of privilege and authority. Those days are gone, top down approach, because information overflow is everywhere. Those days, information was held in a point. So, information and knowledge was power. Today, everyone has information. How that information is utilized for personal and societal benefit, who can take it by large to the larger space, that is the role of a leader.
Yes, yes, yeah, absolutely. This morning, I woke up with a couple of, I'm generally listening into just when I wake up, what do I listen from inside? And then I took a shower, went to the temple, came back. And when I was going to the temple, what was coming to me is that I'm not into the business of coaching and facilitation. I am actually transforming lives, and that is what I'm committed to. It's these two happen to be mediums, and and all of that is service.
Yeah.
So I was so silent when I heard that thought from inside, and then I went to the temple, and I just thanked God for installing this thought in me, because I think everything is grace, and I can create reverse thoughts. I'm a master at it. Like you said, I can offer superb resistance to myself.
Yeah.
I really am good at it. But thanks to the grace from the divine that he tells me, keep your sanity. Yeah, it's so beautiful. Thank you. We've been in this conversation for some time now. I think we need part two and part three because there's so much wisdom that one can tap from you, and I'm sure we will have these conversations more often. But as a closing, what are your few thoughts for humankind?
Let's be kind. You yourself said we are humankind. We are one of the kind, and we are supposed to be kind. That is why that word has come to fore. That's all we can do, right?
You're a master with words. Thank you. Yeah, yeah, that is true. And as you say it, I think let's be kind to ourselves first. Because when I ask for forgiveness, I think I can forgive others, but it's so hard to forgive myself. And nowadays I've started asking God for that. And I find more peace when I ask for forgiveness for my towards myself. So yeah, let's be kind. Thank you. Thank you for that reminder.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for being here and sharing your thoughts. Uh, we will surely come back with more of these. Yeah. Thank you very much for listening. And do share your feedback once you listen to them. How did it touch you? What's that one thing that touched you in this conversation today? Thank you.